Holistic connection. Let's heal. Holistic connection. Let's learn. Holistic connection. Let's grow. Holistic connection. Let's be real.
Hello, everyone. This is PamelaTopjian, your host for Holistic Connections, Conversations with Holistic Practitioners. And today I want to welcome my good friend Deidre to the show. And she is not necessarily a holistic practitioner, but what she does in the world and how she helps people can be very healing in many ways. And we're going to talk about it. So welcome, Deidre. And if you could please share a little bit about yourself and what you do out there.
Thank you, Pamela. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
We are personal acquaintances and friends, so I always enjoy when we get together, and it's always interesting and beautiful and relaxing, and so thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm an artist. I'm a lifelong artist. I kind of start out by telling people that I became successful as an artist the hardest way possible. I did all the mistakes. I had all the stumbling blocks. I let everything fall in front of me, and it doesn't have to be that way. And there's just a couple of little mindsets that if I could have enjoyed or learned or experienced much earlier, I would have maybe been more successful, but I certainly would have enjoyed the journey a lot more than I did. So it was kind of like I was a broken artist.
It's not just about being successful. Yeah.
No, because really, at the end of the day, success without satisfaction and without fulfillment and, realizing important things about yourself or about your dreams and your goals, it's really flat. So my trigger is on the pulse of creativity. Creativity, mystery, and wonder is kind of my vibe and kept me on a full quest forward. And now, though, I look back and I appreciate the stumbling blocks and the hard work that I did, because now I can see it in the language of others. I can see their yearning and their longing to peel back those layers for themselves. And even the youngsters, and that's been one of the things that I've been working a lot with over the last 3+ years, is catching them young. So little known fact, but if you can get children to create past the age of 12, they will continue on through into their adult life as a creative being and a creative thinker. And the age of 12 is relative. It could be a mature 9-year-old or an immature 13-year-old or whatever. But if you can get them past that stage, if they stop beforehand, you will continue to create and think right where you left off for the rest of your life. So I can tell right away when I see an adult draw where they left off. And here's the other little known fact as to why. Why do we stop creating? Why do we stop feeling unabashed about moving forward with expressing ourselves through visual art or audio art and the performing arts? It's usually a pain point. There's usually some sort of a pain factor there. And what that is can come in every shape and size, from, being criticized and picked on, to you not enjoying what you've done or appreciating or thinking there's anything good about it. So there's some sort of a difficulty. And what a lot of people don't know is they'll go on 10, 15, 20 years. And when they go to try to draw or have some creative experience again, that moment returns to them. But all they know it is as discomfort, right? They don't know it as in their young, innocent selves falling prey to, our insecurities and possibly discouragement or criticism or whatever that may be. So it's hard for them to feel it. They feel it emotionally, but they don't know why.
They're feeling those same emotions from where it started way long ago, and they don't even realize where it comes from. It's just that inner dialogue that's, making them not feel so good about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so a really common thing that I hear repeatedly is, oh, I'm not creative.
Right.
So I listen, my ears go boop, 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 like right away.
Yeah. Who told you that? And when?
Who told you that? Who's making that assessment?
Right.
And what comes along with that statement is, I'm not good. and
Mm.
I'm not good at it, and I can't be good at it, and I'll never be good at it.
Yeah, I
That's
can't do
real.
this.
I
End of
can't do
story.
this.
Yeah.
I wasn't meant for this,
Yeah.
right? So people think you're either born with creativity or not, and that is 100% falsehood,
Yeah.
right? And this is exactly the way I see it. We all follow our curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if somebody has a curiosity and maybe an aptitude for math, they
Mm-hmm.
might follow that, right? And so forth. And so if you have a curiosity about creativity, you follow that path.
Yeah.
So this is where the divide comes. Curiosity turning into yearning and longing, drive, desire, and need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people who push and stretch into and through their creative experience and learning to grow
Yeah.
and become a creative being and a creative thinker. And it's no job for sissies, right?
Right.
Because you have to really put that naysaying, critical voice to the side. My father, who now I see was really smart in what he told me, when I told him I declared I'm going to be an artist, and he immediately said, well, you might want to think about doing a business minor or a business major with that. I took it as in, oh, you want to be an artist? Well, while you're thinking about that silly idea, maybe you should put something more tangible to it. Now, as a mature woman, I think that was a pretty smart thing to tell me. It just was
Yeah.
blind,
Right. Right.
right? So those are the things we let beat ourselves up. Who do I think I am that I want to be an artist or a creative thinker? So when I say artist, I mean an expresser, someone who
Yeah.
creatively expresses. So it doesn't have to be visual art,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Art and creativity is so much more than just on the canvas.
It is, and this is where it gets scary. Is it's the moment of invention,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the moment of actively creating something new that's never been produced, seen or enjoyed before.
Yeah.
That's where the really scary step takes place.
Yeah.
Creation.
Creation and creativity. Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people, and I respect it 100%, but a lot of people love to do scenery
Mm-hmm.
and paint from photographs, which I think is brilliant and beautiful, and people putting their own essence on it. But that's also it's technically beautiful, and it's a tremendous artistic achievement, but it's not necessarily creating something new. It's doing
Mm.
something new for yourself, which is great, right?
Yeah.
So creating is digging in to a space within your personal sanctuary,
Yeah.
your own chamber that vibrationally is going to be 100% unique upon yourself than it is from anyone else. And that's
Yeah.
why there's no real good rule books
Yeah.
about how to become a creative person or how to become a creative thinker. There's
Right.
lots of ideas and thoughts, but you have to dig into your own vibrational space, your own personal essence, your sensibility about all things:
Mm-hmm.
color, line, space, dynamics, contrast, and put all those things together. It actually turns out to be a magnificent science.
Yeah. So much more than I think anybody realizes.
That's right.
So how have you seen people grow and benefit from the classes?
Yeah. So I do something I feel is kind of special. I always do an intro, and I
Mm-hmm.
sit with the person and listen very carefully about what they like, what they've done, what they want to learn to do, but what they love. And it might be
Mm-hmm.
color, or it might be characters, or it might be shape. So now we're starting to communicate on a very special language,
Yeah.
right? So I tap into their vibe, and immediately acknowledgement, encouragement, and pathway are, I think, the three most critical or most effective initial approaches. I acknowledge, I listen carefully, I encourage that their thoughts are valid,
Yeah.
that their goals are valid, and their dreams are valid. And then once we start to tap into their likes and dislikes, now we're talking about working on a vibrational level that's their vibe. So to back up a second, I have been working with neurodivergent people of all ages, all divergencies, okay? And this method of easing them into, I get you, I know your space, this is who you are and what you like, let's work in this zone, and slowly getting them to discover new things. if I try to get them to jump into something new right away and break into something that they don't have a neural pathway for, I can see the rejection and the resistance right away. But if I can ease them into it, like, let's use your favorite color, right? Do you like horizontal or do you like vertical? So just getting them into that sensibility for themselves. And then we slowly start to exercise new thoughts, right? New exercises, new thoughts. And then the next time they're much more willing, eager, and excited about crossing a new threshold for themselves. And this is young and adults alike.
I knew that you were working with neurodivergent children. I wasn't sure if it was also adults. So
It is
thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Stressed out women is
Yes.
probably my main.
Sure.
And then I'm really loving working with team building with organizations whose employees have stressful jobs.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so
nurses,
great.
Emergency room nurses, and that kind of thing. And getting them into a room for a couple of hours and letting the heaviness just leave.
Oh my goodness.
Through this gentle processing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah, and that's probably one of my most rewarding moments is when I see the release.
Yeah.
I can see it in them. I can hear it in their breathing, right?
Yeah.
But here's the best one. Okay, ladies, we're coming to a close, and they look up like transformed. I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
Looking into the eyes of people who have just given themselves something they've either never experienced or haven't experienced in a very long time. I call it flow.
Yeah.
Right? They realized that they just went somewhere and did something that was very transformative, all on their own with no hocus pocus.
Yeah, they were just kind of in the zone and kind of lost themselves in it. Yeah.
And then I like to say where they found themselves.
Yeah, found themselves in it. Yeah, lost all the stress and all that weight, got rid of that. Yeah.
So I do get some ladies who will come to me and say, can we work on one-on-one together? Or, oh, I have the perfect group for you. So I work really high on a referral basis. So, I'm not for everyone. Somebody who just wants to learn art technically, I've got that covered to a degree. To a degree, I work best with people who really want to grow into a real super creative kind of modality for themselves.
So you mentioned working one-on-one with people and working with groups of people. And I know you also do parties. We've talked a lot of ways that art and creativity can be helpful for people. Are the parties like a completely almost a different thing? Or is that also, do you also see some sort of benefit beyond something for them to do in their party?
Well, they are completely different.
Okay.
I let the person who wants to host the party, who's facilitating their own party, guide the vibe.
Okay.
So I can tell right away if they just want a straight up paint party, sip and paint, good time, or if they're interested in relaxing and going an extra step into, bringing themselves into a different state of presence. And it's 52 shades of party atmosphere that I can create. But even if it's the sort of, let's call it linear party, right? Where it's just straight up, I do embed, different thought processes and philosophies. And you can see some people in the room really awaken to it. And other people, they don't even hear the words. It has a lot to do with left brain, right brain thinking, right? So I kind of try to identify, I read the room.
Yeah.
Right. Who's like excited to be there and really ready to jump in and just has this joy for doing it, and who's really very terrified, actually.
Yeah.
So I kind of try to catch the vibe and see where people are at on it. But they all do get a great deal from my sessions. I'm not sure exactly everyone else how they conduct their sessions. I know everybody comes in different shapes and sizes,
Sure, yeah.
But I do try to have it be a very memorable experience. As a matter of fact, my tagline is, let's build a treasure of creative memories, one fun paint stroke at a time.
Nice.
And I really mean it, because one of my favorite groups to work with is a family group.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about couples too.
I do specialize in date nights, and they're so sweet. And that's married or unmarried, doesn't matter, but it's really sweet. Because we have to operate and talk in a language that they don't normally do.
Yeah.
Right? We have to talk about color mixing and putting something higher or lower, or visually creating expanse and or contrast and these kind of languages that they don't have to ever interact about,
Yeah.
So they learn things like, oh, I didn't know you liked that,
Yeah.
I find that really rewarding.
And it might be interesting too to see like if they're painting the same thing, if okay, we're going to paint this today, how are the two completely different?
They do.
Or are they exactly the same? Yeah.
What's really funny is the date nights, they either come in to compete who can do better, or they try to come in to harmonize.
Yeah.
Like, how well can we do this? I do invite couples or even parents and children to do a
Families.
diptych
Yeah.
where they two canvases, but it creates one image.
Yeah, nice,
But
nice.
then I tell them, I said, you really need to be able to get along pretty well together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, if there's any kind of friction in the family, you might just want to do your own.
Exactly, because that's not going to work out well. It's not going to be a pleasurable, memorable experience.
Right, right.
Yeah, so to bring it back to being art as a sanctuary,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's jewelry making, sculpting, there's a time and a place where a person puts themselves into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if many people are conscious that they're doing it, but it is a moment that is big medicine for
Mm-hmm.
all of us. They say working with your hands is amazing, and creating, and then being able to put the two together, and then
Yeah.
manifesting something you've envisioned. There's a whole lot that happens to us as individuals and humans
Yeah.
as we do that.
Yeah, and working with color too. I mean, I wanted to mention, I've taken a few of your classes and have gone also to some of the events, and you really teach as you go along, and you're not standing up there as I'm on a pedestal, I'm this artist and I'm teaching you. It can feel like that sometimes, but you don't have that at all. And you talk to people right on the same level that they're on.
An invitation to discover the moment for
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah,
Yeah, you're teaching in a way for them to be open to discovering
that's right.
themselves. Yeah.
Yep, because I have had those instructors where I was
Yeah,
browbeaten, right? I
I
was
bet.
told, something had to be a certain way. And granted, you have to learn those things technically in art if you want to accomplish certain things
Yeah.
in art, but the experiential art is a little bit different, and
Yeah.
letting people experience. I
Yeah.
do I
Find
do try to
themselves.
create as much bumper and guards to prevent people from falling into a place where they are not doing great. If, like, say they're trying
Yeah.
to make a tree,
Mm-hmm.
I work very hard at preventing them from making it much too thick or
Yeah.
much too dark so that it looks ridiculous to them, because I don't want them to feel that way.
Right. And you might show them something and just say, notice this or notice that. You don't just tell them how to do it or what's right or wrong, anything like that.
No,
So yeah, I
I
love
like to
that.
think of it as that I'm with them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking with them, not to them.
Yeah.
That's a really very key aspect, and even just in general conversation. I notice
Yeah.
when I'm being talked to
Right.
versus spoken with.
Right. Absolutely.
Just that little distinction. There's exercises if anybody at any given time would like to try to experience shifting from left brain, right brain,
Okay.
right? And so I'm going to give you an exercise, if that's
Okay.
okay. I'm going to
Yep.
describe it to you verbally. And this is so much bigger than it sounds when you experience it. So I really encourage listeners to give it a try. It only
Okay.
takes a couple of minutes. It doesn't take any talent, it doesn't take any special materials. It takes a piece of paper. And I want you to go through a session of breathing, a couple of nice deep breaths, some very soft exhales. On the exhale, get yourself to relax. And on your last exhale, say, how am I feeling? And take a deep breath in. And the last exhale, answer the question, right?
Mm.
So, I'm feeling excited or delighted or nervous, right? So tap into whatever emotion or description, and then to lightly take your pencil and start moving around half the piece of paper with your pencil and just make a few marks, because mark making is one of the number one. It's one of seven of the main elements of art. So line making, but you're making lines that can kind of relate or emote the emotion that you're feeling, right? Simple is better. Some people get a little bit crazy with it, but simple is better.
Yeah.
And then draw a box around the part of your line work that you like the best. Whatever part just tickles you or feels like it makes the most sense or delights you or whatever. Then redraw the box on the other half of the paper and redraw what's inside. So the first set is very right-brained, very inventive, carefree, nonchalant, emotional vibration. And the second one is copying, right? So you're going from right brain to left brain immediately. And if you do that exercise over and over again a couple of times, you will start to feel the distinction, who you are and what you're doing when you're on right brain and who you are and what you're doing when you're on left brain.
Yeah.
Anyone can try it. And then
Yeah.
you can doodle with it. I teach from there. I teach them to embellish it, which is a very easy and innocent way of getting them to make it look better without even knowing that they're doing art now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where color comes in. And I do specialize in color. I specialize in teaching the science of color
Mhm.
and the vibration of color and the dynamics of color. And
Yeah.
so that's a whole nother,
That's a whole nother topic.
that's a whole other
Within this topic. Yeah.
within
Yeah.
this topic. But it does have to do with vibration. And
Yeah.
a little known fact, but most people like color because of the way it makes them feel, not because of the way it looks. Linear says, I like how it looks. Vibrationally, it's actually affecting them vibrationally, and they're picking up on that vibration.
Yeah. And I wonder if when people have like a favorite color and then it changes over time, if that's because they have changed over
Exactly
time.
right. That's
So
right.
yeah, very interesting.
And colors bring about certain effects, and you might not be in need of that effect anymore.
Yeah. Amazing. So this has gone by so fast and I knew that it would. So let's talk about your website, brushofcreativity.com. So
Yes.
you've got 2 websites.
I do. So Brush of Creativity caters to lessons and learning
Okay.
and developing formal educational programs for organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And Van Gogh Girl Paint Parties is just a fun party atmosphere. That one also focuses on fundraisers, so larger groups,
Okay.
hosting events and to raise funds or for a cause or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it Van Gogh Girl Paint Parties or?
It's Van Gogh Girl Paint Parties.com.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
it's long.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure that we got it right. You are in Roseville, California.
Yep.
And do you ever do any virtual instructions
I do.
in
I'm
other
not
areas?
that big of a fan of it technically. I find it very cumbersome, but I
Yeah.
do, and I have taught many sessions
Okay. Okay.
over Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't even meet or see each other. I can actually talk through processes over the phone.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
that's an audio kind of connection that's pretty special. That's when I do a lot of my imagining work and helping people to discover and to develop and thicken their thread of thought, becoming more imaginative for themselves.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Is there anything else that you want to make sure that people know before we end this today?
Well, just like any impetus in life, we don't really achieve or go towards anything until we act. So the action of creating is as simple as putting your pencil on a piece of paper, but at the time, not really caring what happens. It's the doing. It's just the experience of that. That is the very first moment of discovery that I find really fascinating. It's the first step to millions. One of my biggest motivations, Pamela, is that I would like to be a spark for other people. That's why I listen so carefully, is because I want to be for them what I needed at different stages of my insecurities and levels of trepidus, right? So a Buddhist saying is, a candle can light 1,000 other candles. And so I found my space. I've landed on that plateau in my life, and I'm spinning that out completely. So I'm really excited about that. And I would love to answer any questions or work with anybody. They can contact me directly through brushofcreativity.com. I'm more active on Deidre Trudeau.
Okay, just on your personal. Okay.
My personal Facebook page.
Okay. And we'll put those links below. So whether you're listening or you're watching on YouTube, please check out the show notes and the description under the video. And let's learn and heal and grow together, everyone. And just please know that healing is not just from a practitioner of healing. It can come in all different ways, and creativity is one of them. So thank you so much, Deirdre. I really appreciate you being my guest today.
Thank you, Pamela, for having me. I adored it.
Absolutely, me too.